Right, so now we look at section B of the paper. In section B, we have both writing and grammar. Question number 3 is the long composition, which refers to an 8-mark question. Write a letter in 100 to 120 words to the editor of the Hindu, Chennai, discussing in detail the advantages and disadvantages of ban on crackers. You are Anu or Anuj, 112 Lawrence Road, Kochi. You have to remember it's an internal choice based question. The first part is what we are dealing with right now. If you feel more comfortable, then we look at the next option in the choice itself. Now, when I look at the marking scheme of the question, we can easily see that it's an 8-marker question. How will these marks be distributed? In letter writing, format carries 1 mark, content carries 4 marks, accuracy 1.5 marks, fluency 1.5 marks. If you have just suitable content for your letter but not the other elements, the examiner won't give you an 8 on 8 while he's scoring your letter. So which value point should I have kept in mind while answering this question? Now, when I look at the value points here, we are supposed to talk about in our letter about 2 things, advantages and disadvantages of this ban. Let's look at the advantages first. Banning of firecrackers in some places currently having pollution at its peak like Delhi NCR will obviously bring down the poisonous emission of gases. So when I highlight this part, obviously brings down poisonous emission of gases, tells me the urgency of the issue here, and therefore it's a solid advantage to begin your argument with. Look at the next one. The crackers sold in the market comprise chemical components which when ignited altogether emit hazardous oxides of gases which causes suffocation, reduces visibility and other health hazards. By highlighting the health hazards, I press on to the urgency of the situation. Then moving further, the animal kingdom, which mainly includes the domestic cats and dogs in the urban areas, suffers serious traumas from the booms of the crackers. This also highlights that not only humans are being bothered but also the surrounding animal life also. Now, when I look at the second set of advantages, we can talk about the economic aspect. As of the sale of firecrackers fall, the markets for other Diwali products like sweets, diyas, lights or garments skyrise all the more. The vendors of these products can make profit in the maximum of their ability. So, you focus on the wealth or the gain that is there at the end of this ban. These days, high decibel firecrackers are the hype. Then we talk about how this is causing a lot of noise pollution and may impact hearing ability. The hype or the trend is what we talk about, and thus we substantiate the advantages of the ban. Now we talk about the disadvantages. The ban has been a nightmare for the manufacturers of firecrackers this year. This ban would also mean a huge unemployment in various states. People who are against the ban, those are the opinions you are supposed to talk about in this section of the argument. Bursting crackers on Diwali has always been on the to-do list in every family. A Deepavali without firecrackers will definitely be a cut down in entertainment and recreation for the kids as well as others. It's somewhat making it personal towards the feelings associated with the festival. Thereafter, you have people who may suggest that as the ban says no selling firecrackers, this Diwali the religious sentiments get triggered too. You hype the disadvantage aspect of it. Further, a ban on selling crackers in the market does not stop the civilians from purchasing them online. Everybody is aware how tech savvy people are, and in this tech swayed generation, online buyers are in plenty. So the ban may not really result in that much effect. although the Supreme Court has its best intentions in banning the firecrackers, people are allowed to burn crackers which were stocked up earlier. You cannot take this away from the validity of the argument that people may still have the remaining crackers from previous years. So once I have highlighted the disadvantages, then I can probably bring my argument to a conclusion. For example, burning of firecrackers during Diwali is increasing exponentially year by year. Increasing number of middle class families. Now you talk about the reasons. The growth of consumeristic attitudes, population growth are all contributing to the increasing usage of firecrackers. Restrictions on high decibel and highly polluting firecrackers are a reminder to everyone regarding the noise and the air pollution caused by burning firecrackers, but at the same time highlight the complete ban may not be as effective. Therefore, when I read the whole argument in a letter format, I am supposed to divide my ideas into different paragraphs. To help you analyze your response, we have a sample format here. You begin your answer by giving the address of the sender, then a line space is what you have to keep in mind, followed by the date and the receiver's address. Make sure when you give these details, the editor comes first, then the name of the newspaper and then the address. Then give the subject of the letter itself, addressing the advantages and disadvantages of ban on crackers this Diwali. Then the salutation of the letter. Make sure the value points that we have suggested, you have taken into account all the things, both advantages and disadvantages. The introduction part of your letter should be addressing the editor, such as, through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, I would like to draw the attention of the readers and of the authorities towards the pressing issue of burning crackers on Diwali and also on the repercussions of the Supreme Court ban effective this year. Then in the remaining part, use the value points to highlight the main body of your argument and do not end the letter without a suitable concluding statement, such as, I hope in the light of these observations, the concerned authorities are woken up from their deep slumber and take necessary action to put an effective check on this matter to relieve the troubled citizens. Sign yourself as either Anu or Anuj, like the question stated, and you have a complete answer to your 8-mark letter. Now, if you felt that you were not that comfortable handling the letter question and you wanted to take the internal choice, let's look at the internal choice. Now, if I wasn't that comfortable handling a letter, I may opt for the next one, which is an article question. Write an article in 100 to 120 words on the topic increasing population in the cities. You are Ram or Rama. You may use the following clues. The question gives you some clues to work with your argument, such as migration from villages, more jobs, better educational facilities, effect on living conditions, overcrowding, slums, water and power supply, traffic jams, etc. You have the freedom to use your own arguments, but keep in mind that these are few guidelines with which you can build your argument. Now, the distribution of marks is what I have to remember, because format including the title again carries 1 mark, content 4 marks, accuracy 1.5 marks, fluency 1.5 marks. Pretty much similar to a letter. Just remember, the title of the article has to come at the top of the article itself, followed by the name of the writer, and then you can have your 3 separate or 3 to 4 separate paragraphs highlighting the argument. Which points should I keep in mind while framing the answer? Look at the value points here. Beginning should always be a suitable introduction. At present situation, the problem of overpopulation comes under the category of global crisis. Highlight the necessity of the argument, which is growing day by day with each passing second. Poses a challenge when the rural population migrates to cities excessively, because that's the central idea. One needs to understand the causes of the same to control its effects. We can highlight both the causes and the effects in the article to make the examiner understand my main thesis statement, which is the migration issue here. Now, in the main body, begin with the causes of population growth, or you can say the rising population in the cities. Growth rate of population is higher in developing countries. Reason for this increase is mainly due to lack of knowledge of family planning. Mostly people who are contributing for population growth are illiterate and living below poverty line. They are also getting their child married at an early age without understanding its implication. The introduction begins with an overall agenda of the argument, and then we narrow it down to city migration from the rural areas. Further, we describe mostly people come from rural areas to urban areas for the job opportunities, employment, improvement in lifestyle, better educational facilities, etc. It creates imbalance in city and shortage of resources. Hit at the argument straight away in the main body's first paragraph. Lack of medical services pushes them to reside in cities in crowded slums seeking medical treatment here. They refrain from going once they have the excuse of not having adequate medical facilities in their own remote areas. Then you can talk about the effects of this population growth. As population increases, consumption of basic needs such as food and water will also increase, leading to what? Increase in prices. Forests are depleting to cater the growth of urbanization, that is affecting animals in the forest, causing pollution and imbalance in ecology. It's not just the humans who are being pestered or bothered by this, but also the overall ecology. Then what happens with further increase? With the increase in population, number of vehicles and industries has increased significantly, thereby badly affecting the quality of air. Pollution is constantly on the rise. Overpopulation has increased the acts of violence and aggression as people are competing with each other for getting resources and achieving good lifestyle. What you have to remember is every evidence has to be given with suitable examples so that the examiner knows that you have given it a considerable thought before writing your response. Now, I can provide some solutions to suitably end my argument. Provide better facilities even in remote towns and villages to equip people living in rural areas. It's the job of the government to do that. In slum areas, government has continuously provided some awareness programs to make families understand the hard life they will have to face with 4 or 5 or more children. They also guide them about family planning and efficient birth control. No doubt government is trying to consistently work in the area, but it's not that effective when it comes to rural population. And then the government should impose some strict restrictions regarding city migration. Remember, these are suggestive of things that the government can do in order to improve the situation, and thereby I can suitably end my article with a conclusion to remind the examiner that's the wholesome idea of the article. To live a better life, every family needs to have complete nutritious food, proper shelter, best education, and other important resources. A country can only flourish when its citizens are healthy and live a happy and content life. Controlled population is the key to success for every country in the world. This can only happen when everybody has access to equal resources both in cities and in rural areas. Remember, the central idea was how this migration from rural to urban areas was causing a lot of trouble to the health of your economy, and thus the article substantiates the argument in a wholesome manner. I hope the explanation was clear to you. Once you have done this, you can move to the grammar sections after analyzing question 4, which is also a story writing question that we'll look at in the next segment.